Okay, hey everybody, welcome to the It's On Us podcast. I'm your host, Leonard Williams, and I have a special guest with me, that's Steven Sparco. How you doing, Steven?
I'm doing good, thank you for having me.
Oh, no problem, man. I'd love to have you anytime. Now, when you seen Donald Trump get elected a few days ago, how did that affect you?
Well, to put it into words, I would say it was more of a feeling at the time. It felt like someone straight up punched me in the stomach, and it was just awful. I mean, I couldn't believe it. I was in shock. I was like, this can't be happening. I mean, he's a reality star.
Yeah.
What is this? I mean, he is, a man that was born into money. He didn't have to work hard. I mean, this is technically, I think, the first job he's ever applied for. And now he is the President of the United States. And what scared me even more was, I thought about the VMAs, I believe, 2 years ago when Kanye West said he was running. I was like, oh, for God's sake. Now that he's won, I'm like, wow, maybe Kanye West does have a shot. I mean, that's the world we live in now, apparently.
Yes.
I mean, it's crazy.
Yes, you're right. Hillary, she basically was overqualified for this job. She had a lot of experience in politics, and she was being politically correct through all her debates. And personally, I voted for Bernie at first, but when he lost, I went for Hillary because I couldn't stand for the bigotry, and I didn't like Trump or Pence, anything they had to say, and their rallies were not positive at all.
Don't even get me started on Pence, who is a man who believes in conversion therapy, which is literally electroshock therapy to prove that, someone can suddenly be straight. Because, apparently, being gay or being lesbian or being bi or transgender, that's a choice, apparently.
Yeah,
that's news to me.
Yeah, that's messed up. I heard about the conversion therapy. Who is he? Like, what type of power do you have to say that a person born a certain way is a problem and you gotta change the way they are? Like, it makes no sense to me. It's like you don't have a soul at that point. And for the people to elect people without souls, it shows how ignorant people are.
It really is, and that was one thing I really wanted to stress. 2 years ago, with the Black Lives Matter movement, I marched from Union Square to Times Square, with my hands up, saying "Hands up, don't shoot," because I supported it.
Yes.
And and I tried to make people aware of it, and I said, this is important, and here's why I want to lay out the issues. It wasn't until, I would say, Wednesday night, I understood the gravity of how it must have felt to be a black person in America at that time, to feel like a minority, to feel like, oh my gosh, I may be next, to feel like, my rights didn't matter, and to feel like I was not important. And, there's so many people out there with so much heat that they don't even care.
Exactly.
I mean, and I couldn't believe that, and it's a feeling I would not wish upon anyone. It is absolutely awful.
Exactly, Steven, and I definitely understand where you're coming from because, being a black man, sometimes it's scary for me to walk around, the suburbs with my hoodie up because I have no idea if somebody's going to be scared just because I'm cold. Because I got my hoodie on because I'm cold and somebody might think I'm trying to, break into their house because of the color of my skin.
Exactly. So I think it really helped. I mean, I understood it, but now I know what it feels like.
Yes, exactly.
As dumb as that may sound, I'm not saying it's the same situation.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying it can be very relatable. But this is the time when, people have to unify. And, with the protests that are going on, they should be peaceful protests. I do not condone burning a flag.
Yes.
I mean, I think that's a little extreme, and I think it's wrong. But, I mean, people are just trying to get their message across. Hillary won the popular vote.
Yes.
I mean, I try to simplify it to people who don't, really think clearly. And sadly, I put it as idiot-proof. I said, well, in the first season of American Idol, Kelly Clarkson won. America voted for Kelly Clarkson. That would be like them coming back and saying, well, no, we want Justin Guarini as the winner. That's not how that works, is it? I mean, I'm a big Kelly Clarkson fan, and I think I want her still as the winner.
Yes. You're completely right. The American people, overall, they chose Hillary Clinton. So I believe she should be in office. That's why the whole electoral college thing really throws me off and confuses me, because if it's a true democracy, how come you didn't go with what the American people wanted?
And I believe it was Ann Coulter recently tweeted out that the Republicans haven't, had all 3 seats in the House until back in, I believe it was 1929 the last time that happened. And if we kind of look at 1929, what was going on in the world, is that what we want going on now?
Yeah. Exactly.
I mean, I really don't understand how people can stand there. And, with a lot of Trump supporters, too, some of the people in my family do support him. And I try to stress, why they should not support him. It seems that everyone has the same reaction, though, that Hillary is a liar. Well, newsflash, all politicians lie.
Are liars, yes.
I mean, I don't really think there's ever been one truthful one. I wouldn't even say really Obama was that truthful. I mean, I feel everyone has their own skeletons in their closet, and they say what people want to hear. And I believe that was one thing with Trump's campaign. I believe it awoke the inner racism in people that they didn't know existed.
Yes.
People love to say it doesn't exist in the world. Well, he brought it up, and suddenly people were kind of nodding their heads, being like, I do kind of feel this way.
Yes.
And it's proof. It's still alive. It's still active. And it sets us back over, 20, 30 years, for people, of the LGBTQ community. It's like, look what happened to Matthew Shepard. Is that going to become more frequently now? That was meant to be a time when things were changing, We didn't have to worry about getting tied to a fence and beaten to death.
Exactly.
I mean, is that going to happen more frequently now? I thought with the Pulse shooting back in June, I said, well, this was an isolated incident. It could have been prevented. Now, with, all these news stories breaking about, the racism, the bigotry, the homophobia, the xenophobia that's been going on in the U.S., like, this is the world now. This is the U.S. And what I hate, I understand Trump is the president-elect. I'm hoping we can get that recall vote December 19th of the Electoral Congress, and hopefully, they can see how the world is reacting and do something about it. But, I mean, until then, he should address what's going on.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Definitely. When he had Klan supporters and neo-Nazi supporters, like, advocating for Trump, as a human being...
He never rebuked their support as well. I would like to throw that out there. He never said, I don't condone, the KKK's support. I don't want that support. He never said anything about it.
Exactly. And you know what? I got to come up with a crazy scenario to, compare something to reality. So if, as a black man, if there were like, if there used to be a group or whatever of black people lynching white people because they were white and castrating white people because they were white, and all of a sudden they supported, a black president that was being, racist, and he didn't, and he was fine with supporting that group that used to lynch white people. As a human being, I would be like, no, this is wrong. I'm not going to support this person that's advocating for this group. Like, it doesn't make any sense. So it's crazy. I had to make up a scenario to talk about reality. This man is basically, he had to be endorsed by the KKK. That's what David Duke was saying, and how he's happy that Donald Trump is bringing all the racist people together. It's like, it makes no sense that as a human being you can go for, terrorism. That's basically terrorism. It makes no sense.
That's what you're doing by supporting him. I firmly believe that.
Exactly.
I think you're saying, I agree with what is being said.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know any way to put it, more bluntly, except be a human and vote. I'm not saying Hillary is a saint, and I'm not trying to advertise that at all. I know everyone's allowed to have their own, political beliefs, but at the same time, it's be a human.
Yes.
Just be a human.
Exactly.
Treat people decently. It's really not that hard.
It's not. You learn it in preschool.
I mean, you should learn that from an early age. And I mean, what is this example? I remember during one of the debates, they asked both of them, children are seeing this. What kind of example are you two setting? And I remember Hillary, she answered the question as eloquently as she possibly could. And, Trump just stomped around and said, this, that, probably something racist, probably something sexist. And, I was recently at my job, and I was overhearing in a conversation of a woman and a man talking at the bar. And she said, I really don't like Trump, but I just think the world wasn't ready for a woman president yet.
Wow.
What? I don't see your reasoning there. Like, I mean, I don't even know how to answer people anymore with just, constant face palms going on.
It's 2016, right? Like, I thought, we were in a better state. You being a gay man, I would treat you with so much respect and as a human being because you are a human being. We're cool. We could be friends. There's nothing wrong with the way you are. To me, as long as you don't try to kill me for no reason, or like you're some psychopath, like, you're fine.
I just think it's people. I mean, along with like the whole transgender bathroom issue, it's like they just want to use the bathroom they feel comfortable in. They're not trying to sneak into the bathroom to, rape you.
Exactly.
Like,
that's
they
the
already
crazy
feel awkward enough. They have to ask to use a bathroom that they feel they should be using.
Steven, you know what? You know what's funny? The people that I saw complaining about that bathroom issue, they had no problem with Brock Turner at all. I didn't see them post anything about Brock Turner.
Yeah. Well, that was one thing I just recently tweeted. I said, it's funny. Reading my timeline of people on Facebook, all the Trump supporters seem to be the ones with the most skeletons in their closet.
Yes.
I mean, I'm not saying, that for all of them. I'm not trying to generalize, but it's like, it's like interesting. I'm seeing a theme here,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a proven fact that, people who didn't go to college or who weren't college educated, support Trump more.
That's
and
true.
I just feel it's not because they didn't go to college. I just feel it's because, they kind of get in the same cycle of, they stayed in their hometown, maybe they haven't seen the world. They haven't been able to talk to different walks of life. They haven't been able to understand, what's really happening in the world. They kind of have a one-side view of everything.
Exactly.
And it's like, no, I have friends from different countries who are texting me saying, you're being laughed at right now. And I'm like, well, yeah, I could see why.
Mm-hmm. And I can see why too, because it's sad, honestly. And when the audio came in of Billy Bush and Trump about him grabbing girls by the privates, I thought it was over for him at that point. I was like, "It's no way."
I thought it would be over too. But I see, girls passing off as, oh, it's just locker room talk. We talk like that. That's like the talk they have on the television show Sex and the City. And I said, well, there we have it. We have a fiction television show that is written about a group of friends that are meant to be talking in private versus a man that you're trying to choose to lead our country. That, speaks of women in like this awful way.
Exactly.
I mean, you condone that? I mean, okay. But her emails, Hillary's emails.
Yep, they kept going back to her emails no matter what this man said. No matter what he said or no matter what Pence has said, they kept going back to her emails. I'm like, those emails couldn't have been that damn important for the fact that this man doesn't care about human beings. It's like certain human beings. It's like, come on.
Also, the fact that Vladimir Putin is so excited about, Donald Trump being elected.
Oh, yeah.
That man has wanted nothing to do with America for the past, just Russia in general, for God knows how long now. All of a sudden, we're going to be buddy-buddy. Let's cozy up with Russia.
Yeah.
Personally, I think I look good in a babushka hat, but I don't really want to be wearing one anytime soon.
Oh yeah, Steven, I'm trying to say this election really woke me up to like, this racism and the bigotry and everything. It's not going away anytime soon. But like you said, we do gotta unite more than ever because it's almost like not a civil war, but the America is kind of split in half on views.
It is. It really is. And with a lot of people, I try to look into every side so I can try to understand. So, all my views aren't one-sided, and I can try to see where people are coming from.
Mm-hmm.
But, with the views with Trump, none of them really add up. Everyone's just like, well, he says it's what he feels. Mm-hmm. Well, so does Wendy Williams.
Yeah.
I really don't know what you mean by that. He said, I say what I feel. You don't see me trying to be president.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. And I try to say it in the nicest way possible, but I'm just like, you kind of sound like an idiot right now, right? And I'll give them a little, a side head turn, almost like I'm trying to be a friend, or warn them, but, people don't want to listen.
Exactly. And you're still down in New York, right?
For the time being, yeah.
Okay, well, what's the vibe like down in New York ever since that election happened? Like, what's the energy been like down there?
Very somber. As awful as this sounds, and I'm not trying to relate it in any way, but it reminds me of, on September 11th here.
Okay.
That's how the day felt after. Everyone's very quiet, keeping to themselves. Everyone here is primarily a Hillary supporter, and Hillary did win, the state of New York.
Mm-hmm.
There's not many Trump supporters here because this world is a melting pot, up here in Manhattan and everything, so many different walks of life. And I talked to a cab driver about it the night it happened, and he said, I'm really upset as an immigrant. And I listened to him, and I sat in the cab before he dropped me off.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, as an immigrant, this is hard to see because I feel I've worked so hard to be here and create a life for myself. But also, at the same time, it's kind of historic. You take someone like Melania Trump, who was born in, I feel like I may be wrong here, but Ukraine, I'm probably wrong. Let's just avoid that. But, she's an immigrant, and now she's the first lady, and he said that's amazing to him. She came from nothing, and now look at her.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, yeah, you can say that, but at the same time, did she really earn that as well? I mean, I don't condone, the shaming of her and her past, but we don't vote for the first lady.
Yeah.
I mean, if we did that, I think Jay-Z would probably be president.
Oh man, and you know what? And the crazy part to me, like when what's her name? Melania Trump. That's her name. Melania. Okay, when she wanted to do the advocating for the anti-bullying thing, I was fine with that.
Yeah, her platform is cyberbullying and probably code.
Yeah, I was saying, like, okay, that's cool, but, like, look what your husband is doing at the same time.
Yeah, her husband is the biggest cyberbully of all time. Yeah. Like, are you going to start this at home? Like, are you going to, like, lock him out of his Twitter account or something?
Oh, yeah, his Twitter account.
He's the only person I know who just became president of the United States, but tweets at people. He calls Rosie O'Donnell a fat pig on Twitter.
Yeah, what kind of stuff is that?
Like, this is the man you want.
Yeah, this is the man.
I mean, the more I say stuff about him, I'm just like, how? How is this possible?
Mm-hmm. Now, do you think, when it came to the popular vote, though, was it neck and neck almost when it came to the popular vote?
It was.
Okay.
And that was even scarier part. Hillary did win. I believe she won by over, 200,000 votes, which really isn't that much.
Exactly.
But then when you put it together, I believe there was over, 5 million unregistered voters. There's probably even more, I'm wrong with that number. Mm-hmm. Then there was over the 11,000 votes for Harambe the gorilla.
Yeah, silly.
I mean, people got dressed. They got up that day, they got dressed, went to a polling station, and voted for a dead gorilla.
Yeah. And yeah, they really didn't take it serious. And I hope, like, when they seen the results, they were like, okay, maybe I should have, been, paying more attention and took this more seriously. But I think I got to get more educated on this electoral college because I really don't understand. I thought that when it came to the electoral college that it was going to be a blowout on Hillary's side. That's what I thought before the election.
I thought so too, but you know what happened right before the election? It's with that whole new email scandal from Anthony Weiner.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, the guy who was sending explicit photos to a bunch of women. I mean, that was like the 5th time he got caught doing it. Yeah, sounds like a real stand-up guy.
Yeah.
So that kind of, and the FBI leaked that information. I mean, why would they leak information like that?
Exactly.
I mean, that's kind of eyebrow-raising.
Mm-hmm. It was for me, too.
I try to, and, people can't really FBI tell us about this if it wasn't important. And then you go and read the emails that were the new discovered emails and stuff about, getting supplies to people in Haiti, about about Malala, coming over here for school.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's stuff like that. And it's like, how is this incriminating? I mean, yeah, I understand she shouldn't have been using a personal email server, but I mean, I have to constantly remind my mom of even what her password is.
You know what, man? That's why I was like, to me, that it made no sense, though. Like, okay, the email thing, yes, that was a big issue, but they only could point to one thing for Hillary. And to me, there was a million things on Trump of why he shouldn't have been the president of the United States. It's not like he was winning some pageant. it's really an important job.
It really is. And one thing too, I feel that was also brought up a lot was the kind of reverse sexism that was going on.
Oh yeah.
You know, people are like, well, Hillary, you know, she can't be trusted. I mean, look at her. She stayed with her husband Bill after all those cheating scandals. Trump has literally said he will grab women by the privates and you can do whatever you want.
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't treat women with respect. So that's different. I mean, I'm not saying, you know, Hillary should have left Bill, but I'm saying I see a woman here who admitted her husband did wrong and still stood by his side versus someone who's saying, you know, how many marriages has Donald Trump had? I believe 3. This is his 3rd or 2nd. I'm not even sure at this point.
Exactly.
But he's saying he grabs women by the privates, and that is okay.
Yeah, not only was this the election results disrespectful to, you know, minorities in the LGBT community and everybody else, do you also believe that this election disrespected women and undermined them?
I firmly do. I do. I definitely believe that.
It was like,
I mean, I think the proof is kind of in the pudding here.
Mm-hmm.
As, like I said, the woman at the bar who said, I just feel the world isn't ready for a woman president yet.
oh man. Yeah, a friend told me. Yeah. Okay.
How can you say that? I mean, I really see. I've always viewed everyone as equals,
Mm-hmm.
and the person who clearly was more prepared for the job was Hillary, and she also happens to, you know, believe in the same beliefs I do.
Yeah.
I mean, not everything. Not everyone will see eye to eye on everything,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't get it. I mean, you know, and a lot of people really want to just throw back up in my face. Well, you know, she didn't always support the LGBTQ community. And I'm like, okay, well, just like everyone's aunt, eventually they will accept it. Like, she'll learn. And you know what? And she learned. And you know what? And now the LGBTQ is some of the biggest supporters that she has.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and Trump openly stated he doesn't believe in same-sex marriage. I mean, now there's flags of him holding, you know, the rainbow flag. Okay, well, the damage is done. You're on record saying you don't support us. And this is recent, too. This was when, you know, he was competing for the Republican ticket nomination.
Yeah.
You know, he believes that women should be incriminated if they get, or it should be criminal if women get an abortion.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's these strong standpoints he stood by that kind of spoke to each and every single middle American, you know, with the strong moral beliefs. I mean, it's just ridiculous. You know, where do you get off telling a woman what she can and can't do with her own body?
Exactly. And
I mean, so that's kind of my whole viewpoint on it. I do believe sexism played a big part in this.
yes, and when it seemed like when he won too, like you said, he kind of flipped the script and tried to seem like a politically correct person all of a sudden. It's like it's too late, you know. It's like, come on, the
damage is done.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
And I mean, I firmly believe, you know, in the hashtag, he's not my president,
Mm-hmm.
and I am still with her. I mean, I understand if he does serve out the 4 years. I mean, I blocked the president on Twitter. Like, what does that say?
It says a lot.
Like, I mean, the fact that I'm just like, oh my god, this man's so annoying, because, you know, he was paying for sponsorship, so his tweets were showing up on everyone's timeline.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I had to block the president on Twitter because he's annoying.
Yeah, and have you seen the articles and the attacks that's been going on with Trump supporters the past few days?
Oh yeah, I have. I was actually, I wouldn't say I was a victim of one, but I was already told something that was very offensive, and I told them that's not funny, it's not a joke. I was told, well, it looks like you're having a destination wedding now.
Wow.
And I said, that's not funny at all. And they're like, oh, learn how to take a joke. No, it's not a joke. It's not funny that I just gained this right back in June of 2015, and now it may be taken away.
Yeah, because I heard he wants to eradicate everything Obama has done. Even though, yeah, it's like, come on, man, come on. Like, get a grip on reality. Like, come on.
Yeah, he wants to make America great again. Well, the past 8 years have been pretty damn good.
Yes, I seen Klan members. I'm gonna call them Klan members because most of them are. They tweet like, you know, they can't wait for it to be like 1930 again, 1950 again. I'm like, hold on, did you honestly say you can't wait for it to be the Great Depression? Like, these are idiots that are tweeting.
Yep, they really are. Well, and that's one thing I find. I mean, I feel like there weren't that many Trump supporters before he actually won. Now all of a sudden they're all coming out of the woodwork.
Oh yeah.
You know, they were all so big behind their keyboards, and now, you know, they're coming out actually of their, you know, parents' basement and just eradicating everything that he supports.
Yeah, man, it's sad. Like, the sad part is, like, I remember when Barack got elected in 2008, how happy I felt, you know, to be proud and black because history was made in that way, you know, the first African American president.
That glass ceiling was broke.
Yes, and now for this thing, it's like they wanted to go back in time, so they were happy that an open racist man was, you know, in the White House, and now they could feel like and be prideful and go out and say whatever the heck they want to say and harm whoever they wanted to harm.
Well, and that's one thing. Everyone's saying, oh, well, when Obama won, you didn't see us acting like that. And
oh, yes.
The point is we still had two candidates who both were seasoned enough to be president.
Yes.
In this case, and I mean, I'm not saying, I believe his first person he ran against was John McCain, who is, you know, a war veteran, and I'm sure, you know, intelligent enough to be president. I can't really remember. I believe it was Mitt Romney.
Yeah, Mitt Romney.
The second time around. Still, Obama won because he was the better candidate.
Yeah.
The better candidate did not win this time, and someone who far beyond, like, the wrong candidate. That's why that's why the protests are happening.
Exactly.
You know, if we're voting reality stars in, you know, I want Nene Leakes for 2020. Like, that's how I'm feeling at this point. I'm like, okay, apparently we can nominate anyone.
Oh yeah, I wanted to ask you about that 2020 election. Do you hope that certain candidates like come out and you know, go against Trump? Like, what candidates do you hope to see?
Personally, I was hoping the glass ceiling would be broke and that there would be a woman president. I know Barack Obama said to Time magazine, you can take it to the bank, Michelle wouldn't run, but I would love if Michelle Obama were to run. I would love if Elizabeth Warren were to run. Even, I mean, I wouldn't say I'm a Republican at all, but Condoleezza Rice is a highly intelligent woman. I would love to see her run and try to get the Republican ticket nomination. I mean, I just believe it is time for the glass ceiling on that to be broken.
Yeah, that's true. And you don't. Do you think Kanye West is serious about running in 2020?
I really hope not. I mean, I feel so bad. I mean, look how they're chastising Melania Trump for her, like, early modeling images. I mean, gosh, we would tear poor little Kim Kardashian apart. I mean, gosh, I mean, she was robbed. Hillary Clinton was robbed. I mean, so many people being robbed these days.
Yes, that's true. Now, do you have any solutions you want to say to the audience before we close out?
Do I have any solutions?
Yes.
I would say that treat people how you want to be treated. There are different walks of life everywhere. It's about learning to respect them and accept them before we can even try to decide on anything else. It's about coexisting and being equals and just treating people with respect. It's not hard. Just do it. I mean, I think that's about all I have to say about the situation. And let people, you know, have freedom of speech and stand up for their beliefs.
That's true. You know, it's on us to change the world. It's on us to be better. And it's on us to make this world great. Let's close.